Jeff and I played a league together, and we completed our draft this past Sunday. We thought about talking about it on Monday's show, but then we cut that for time. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to go over our drafts, our teams, and give you an idea of this is what we did based on everything we've been talking about so far. So here's my team up here. You can see.
There we go. It's called the Boreal Blondes. I don't know if you wanted to get into the.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. So my team's called the Boreal Blondes. It's a two-step process. Once is when I first started playing fantasy sports. My last name is Aurora, and so my fantasy teams were called Aurora Borealis. And then after a while, I moved to Montreal, where we met. And in Montreal, one of like the flagship beers that you'll find in every bar is Boreal, and Boreal Blonde is a particular flavor of it. And so Aurora Borealis became the Boreal Blondes. And that's it.
That's a good name. So you've had that name, going for a while now. So
quite a while now, yeah.
Let's get into your team here, Mo. So your keepers, once again, we do a 3-keeper league in our league here. Go ahead. So who did you have, Mo?
Okay, so
pretty obvious who you had.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious who I had, right? So I came into this season with Todd Gurley, Alvin Kamara, and Michael Thomas as my 3 keepers. Pretty good, I think, right? And so what I did,
good. And I mean, did you draft Kamara last year, or did you pick him?
I drafted Kamara.
Wow, that's huge. So
not only that, but a few years ago, I drafted David Johnson in the late rounds of our draft one year, and he didn't break out in his rookie year, but he showed some flashes, and I sort of took a chance and kept him at the end of that year, and then he went on to become a superstar, and then he's been getting hurt and stuff, but like. I'm kind of proud. I'm kind of proud that I'm at least the last couple of years I haven't just like gotten lucky with late round running backs that I took a chance on. I've like identified a guy, believed that he was going to be good, and then 2 of them have been fantastic. So
let's go right to your bench here. If you're talking late round running backs, you stuck to your guns. We talked about Nick Chubb. You mentioned Nick Chubb and as a guy that you wanted to target in drafts, and you stuck to your word right there. Also, you meant Jordan Wilkins right there. So you do have 2 late round running backs, and you did draft Kamara late one year. You drafted David Johnson late another year. So
my strategy. Go back up to my starters, Jeff.
Yeah.
So you can see, so Kerryon Johnson there was actually my first pick. And the reason why I took him is, I mean, all year I've been talking, all preseason I've been talking about running backs over wide receivers, right? And I had a chance there to get, like guys like Barkley and Royce Freeman were picked ahead of me. And there were other guys like Kelsey and Stephon Diggs that were just sort of best player available that if they fell to me, I would have got them, and they didn't. And so I went with Kerryon Johnson again for a chance at a starting running back. And I would only immediately, he'll be my flex maybe, right? I don't even have him in my lineup right now, but like there's not a lot of pressure on him on my team to do well, but he has a chance to be great. And then after that, I had to wait a while because I didn't have picks for a few rounds. So I waited for a very long time to get my second wide receiver. And I kind of went with a bunch of guys that have high upside, but I think there's discounts on them because Sammy Watkins is my second wide receiver right now, and it's a bit of a gamble, right? But I look at it as, he was the 4th option on the Rams last year, but that's also because, what are some other things? So 2 possession receivers and a running back all thrived in that offense, and it was helmed by a safe, smart throwing, cautious rookie, not rookie anymore, he's a young quarterback, but a guy who makes safe throws. So basically, Sammy Watkins. And by the way, Sammy Watkins wasn't he still averaged 15 yards a catch. He just only had 40 catches, right? And it's like, well, yeah, it makes sense that the thing that Sammy Watkins does well wouldn't work as often in that offense, but the things that Sammy Watkins doesn't do as well would, right? Now he's going to Kansas City. There's more yards available in that offense, more passing yards and fewer rushing yards, comparatively, because like Kareem Hunt is good. But if part of the reason why Watkins wasn't good last year was because Gurley was like outstanding and took a lot of the – well, it's a relief. Anybody who's not Gurley, it's kind of a relief to be away from Gurley. You know what I mean? And I think it's an offense where Mahomes throws down the field, and Watkins isn't the only deep threat. There's Watkins and Hill and Kelsey if you want to add. Like there's room to cut. Like you have to cover every part of the field in Kansas City, and I think that's why he's going to thrive more than he did. Because look, even if you take his stats from last year, make it 60 catches instead. 60 catches for 900 yards. That's in the ballpark of what we're talking about. He also had a bunch of touchdowns last year. Maybe he can do that again.
Yeah, I think Kansas City might be the sexiest team right now in fantasy football. I think.
Perhaps. I know I've been talking him up. I put Pat Mahomes up there, my all-in players.
Yeah. Anyways, going back, I think you'll definitely be putting Carry-On in your flex because Robbie Anderson, he might be in jail, dude. By the time.
I hope he's not, man. If the worst thing he did was say something really rude to a cop that was giving him a hard time, well, you know what? Whatever. We've all said something we didn't mean to in anger. We all said something we regret in anger. That's no reason to condemn a person, their intelligence, their ability to be a professional. Like, that's fine. You know, this shit will blow over. He'll be okay. Sorry, I swore. But Sammy Watkins. I also took a chance on Will Fuller and Robbie Anderson. And it's like, and even Michael Gallup and Michael Williams. These are guys that you might find at the end of your draft who end up being fantasy starters. So really, I went zero wide receiver kind of, you know. And
yeah, I like how you have some upside, you rookies right here. Your team is a very young team for sure. Your bench is like average age of like 22 years old, maybe.
Yeah, and it's like not every one of those guys are going to work out. Maybe more of those guys won't work out than other people. But at the same time, the ones that do have much higher upside, you know? And it's not like you don't drop a player by a little bit or drop him by a lot. If you drop him, you drop him. But if a guy hits, the guy can hit a little bit or he can hit a lot. And I have guys that can hit a lot. So we'll see what happens.
Bench is full of millennials, complete millennials. Actually, Will Fuller is the most experienced guy on your bench. What is it, his third year?
Yeah, I think so. Holy, wow.
Yeah, rookie, second year, rookie.
Yeah, I'm just going high upside, big plays. I just want to find lottery tickets because I know that I'll be able to find receivers, startable, passable receivers on the waiver wire. But I also went with Evan Engram, and I know he's going to have a bad start. He got crunched.
Yeah, he did. He got concussed. This is pre-concussion, so.
But you know what? It was cool. I didn't even need to reach for him so much because somebody else reached for Jimmy Graham,
which was ridiculous,
right? But then it also sort of made it where it was like, because there was a while where I'm like, you know what? I see here on the screen, everybody, it's like Graham is ranked ahead of Engram, but if I had the choice, I might want Engram more than Graham. So when somebody picked Graham, I'm like, okay, good. Now I don't have to like reach for Engram. I'm picking him in the right spot, you know, and I like him. I think he's gonna be good.
So let's move over to my team right here.
The defending champions, by the way, the real team we're watching.
Yeah, Feather's Fortune is the name. Feather's my cat, so it was his fortune last year. And so what I did, I mean, it's a pretty sexy team too. I got Russell Wilson in the 7th round at the 7-1.
Who are your keepers?
Lev Bell, Kareem Hunt, and Keenan Allen. And so what I did was, early on, I think my first draft pick was, I believe it was Amari Cooper over here. So I like my receivers. I have steadiness. I have some room for good upside right here. I definitely have a top 5 quarterback in Russell. I got 2 great running backs, and you'll see I stuck to my guns too. I have Burkhead in the flex, but he's backed up by Sony Michel right here. So, and I had the 2 Packer backs right here, which I'm happy with. And then the rest are some upside potential. Jameis is going to come back. You know, Tampa does throw a lot. Get that little Godwin, the Winston combo, and Crowder I think is a stable wide receiver right here. So
yeah, I think it's good. And I think that you took a different approach than I did in that, you know, I went after all these individual players that I thought had breakout potential. You went after 2 backfields that have room for one person to have breakout potential. You know what I mean? And like with Green Bay and with New England, there's a chance in both that you don't know which guy to start every week, right? But that just might create a situation in which you can trade both of them, right? Yeah. But like that's 2 good offenses where you have 2 chances at finding a lead back. And that's also a high upside play. It's a different way to go about it. You know, it's like, all right, let me pick 2 players thinking one of them is going to be good, whether they're teammates who play the same position or just guys who play the same position. You know?
It's a long season, and as a player, or at least both players in the platoon are injured, and Sony Michel and Burkhead. So I guess I'd be cheering for an injury, because then the other person's going to get all the work. So
sure. Right, yeah.
Guessing game, and they're in my flex. So yeah,
real good position. You drafted exactly the way you talk about fantasy football, and you know, for better or for worse, I know my team, some people are going to be like, you suck at wide receiver. That was a bad draft. The way I look at it is I may be wrong about everyone, but everyone I wanted fell to me where I wanted to get them. So I was at whatever I did to at least prepare for the draft, it unfolded. Like that was good preparation because it unfolded the way I wanted to. Maybe it's not going to work out, but maybe it will. We'll see.
It's 12-team league. It's obviously standard scoring. And I will tell you right now, there's a pretty decent sneaky receiver on waivers with some serious upside that's out there right now.
Interesting. I haven't looked.
So maybe if we alarm our league mates that he's there, I wonder if he's going to get picked up. Do I mention who it is? Do I not?
Well, I don't know. Do you want him?
I actually do. I'm actually debating if I should cut Tyler Eifert for this player.
I probably would.
Yeah.
Eifert is a good player when healthy.
Okay.
But given that that's his rep, isn't he someone that you'd almost rather have starting until he gets hurt?
Burton's my tight end. This is my first fantasy decision this year. I'll tell you what it is, because if I lose out on him, it's okay, and that means maybe someone in our league is watching this podcast, or you'll vulture me. But
well, no, yeah, my priority is that anyone's watching this show. So if somebody wants to pick the player up, please go right ahead.
You can grab this player. So. Let's see. Okay, so Keelan Cole is out there right now.
Okay. Yeah, his situation improved drastically.
He is wide receiver 1 on the Jaguars. And so my dilemma is I've been thinking about it for 2 days. I was even going to put a waiver claim on him. Look, I like Trey Burton, but if Eifert's going to be healthy, I don't know. He hasn't been healthy in the 27 years, but he's –
I think you might as well drop him, not because he's not good, but because I think the way to use a guy like Eifert is similar to the way that you use a guy like Jordan Reed. Is you're happy to have him as long as you do, and then when you lose him, fine. But to have him on your bench and expecting him to be there to replace somebody else, that's not as likely to happen, right?
Okay, so are you saying I should pick him up right now? Am I doing an on-show pickup?
I mean, I don't know if that's fair. I didn't even realize we could pick players up yet.
Yeah, of course you can.
Well, I drafted perfectly, so I don't want to drop anybody. No.
Your team is perfect, Mo.
Your team is perfect.
So, am I making my first on-field move here? Okay, so look.
We got to keep the show going.
Might as well make it. Let's make it official right now. So you watch me make this move. So I'm going to pick up Keelan Cole. Right there on Jacksonville. So my league can suck it if they want to.
This is why you're the defending champion.
And the commissioner, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, can I just say, no offense to you personally, it really bugs me when the commissioner ends up winning the fantasy league championship, just because it makes me feel like I've just been there for your amusement this whole time. And it's just like so Jeff beat me in the finals in our league last year. And yeah, I'm the only person in the world who had Gurley and Kamara and did not win his fantasy championship. But that's because Jeff had a great team. But when you beat me, I was like a little bit disappointed that I lost. I was a little bit like, damn it, Jeff got me, And then I was a little bit like, I was mostly just like, I can't believe the commissioner won. We've all just been puppet in the commissioner's game here. That's why he does all this. And we just went along with it. That's what
no one wants to lose to the commissioner. It's really
no, not at all. It feels like I've been played.
I feel like I'm manipulating the entire league. But look, I will say, I won last year at the draft. I barely tinkered all year. I drafted Mark Ingram. I drafted Kareem Hunt. And that's almost all you need to know. And I drafted Keenan Allen. So
yeah. They say that you can't win a draft. They say you can't win your league at the draft, but that's not entirely true. You can halfway win your league at the draft. You can't do anything. I think it's half draft, half the rest of the year. I think you can't win your league at the draft, but you take the biggest step towards it at the draft than you do any other time. You know what I mean? You have the rest of the year to trades and do waivers and stuff, but the draft means something. It really does, because you don't know how all these players are going to turn out to be necessarily. And then when the ones that turn out really good, the best way to end up with them on your roster is to already have had them. just by mistake. Like, oh shoot, this sixth running back that I drafted turned out to be amazing. I had no idea. Sure,
Like
you know.
Wilkins, but look, we made I made my first in-season move right on the show here. So
Trying to jump on all the rest of us once again.
Your advice, but I think I was going to do
Get richer. What are we all doing here?